Oasis FM.
Good morning, good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to another vlog from Oasis FM online. A little bit different this one. You actually find me in the head offices of Oasis FM itself. But not only is it Oasis FM, this place is also the head office for the Canarian Weekly. The reason why I'm here, very, very simple, is we're here to have a chat with the owner of the Canarian Weekly. We're here to have a chat with the editor of the Canarian Weekly because it's actually about information about how you guys back in the UK are going to get yourselves over here to Tenerife. So as always, we always say, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Click a little thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the little bell for the further notifications. But let's go and have a chat with Chris Elkington. Let's see what he's got to say about how you guys managed to get yourselves over here and what you need to do to get yourselves over here correctly. Okay, let's go. Right, so Chris Elkington, Commander-in-Chief of Oasis FM and the Canarian Weekly, yes?
Indeed, hello.
Fantastic. We all know about Oasis FM, we're going to be pushing that later on down the line. We're here today to actually, I want your Canarian Weekly hat on. Okay, that's what I'm after.
Okay.
Let's think about it very simply. We've got people at the moment in the UK that are wanting to get to the Canary Islands. Mm-hmm. Right, so let's say I'm Joe Tourist. Mm-hmm. How do I now get to the Canary Islands? Do I just buy a flight and just get here?
It's an interesting one because in general, people in the UK are really savvy and up to date with what they need to do when they get back, but not when they're travelling somewhere. Okay, so there's three different types of travellers in general that are coming to the islands.
So three types of tourists?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got your normal holidaymakers booking a 2-week holiday in an apartment or a hotel, in tourist accommodation. You've got property owners, second homeowners, and then you've got people who want to come and stay with friends and family.
Right, okay.
Okay, so starting with the tourists.
So I'm the tourist, I'm on a 2-week holiday, I want to come to the Canary Islands, I'm going to stay in a hotel or accommodation, I've gone and booked my flight, what do I need to do?
Not a lot.
Really?
They've changed the legislation as to what you need to enter Spain. So from May the 24th, you don't need any test to enter the country.
Because we fall under Spain's rules?
We fall under Spain's rules,
right,
yes.
Okay.
So you don't need a test to enter the country.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
You do need to fill in a locator form, the same as you do for the UK, and that's for track and trace, the normal stuff, yeah? When you arrive at your complex, which they've just updated these rules today. Yeah.
And today's date is the 24th of June, 2021.
So they've just updated it today to say that you can stay in licensed tourist accommodation without test if you are fully vaccinated.
Right.
Which you can get a certificate to prove that. If you've had a test within the last 72 hours.
Yeah.
If you're under 12 years old.
Yeah, because that's changed, isn't it?
It used to be 6, they've updated it today to 12.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's a positive thing.
Yeah.
And also if you have recovered from the illness.
Right.
If you've had it within 4 weeks in the last 6 months, okay, so once you've recovered, your certificate lasts 180 days, then you don't need anything to enter into accommodation.
Okay, so that's getting us in here.
Yes.
Right, okay. What then do we need to do? Any more, give me something else that we need to know. Is that as simple as it is?
That's it. That's as simple as it gets, as easy as it gets.
If
So
you're
actually travelling here,
Yeah.
Spain have made it really easy.
Brilliant.
And the alert levels that are in place in the islands don't affect it.
Yeah, because we're going to come and touch on the alert levels in a second because we had some news yesterday. So that's tourist number 1 on a holiday with the family, just coming over to accommodation into a hotel.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Indeed.
Okay, you mentioned 2 other types of tourists. Tourist number 2?
As far as, tourist number 2 is people who own property.
Right.
And it's slightly different here because Brexit comes into play. So it's not just strictly COVID rules. Now you've got Brexit in play as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Because the actual rules for entering the country are exactly the same. You don't need a test to enter. You've only got to fill in a locator form.
Right.
But obviously if you own a property, you have to put down your address where you're staying.
Yeah.
Okay? Now then, since the UK left the EU or left Europe, they've become a third country, which means there's other requirements that can be asked for. One of the requirements, if you're a property owner, is that you can proof of ownership through your escritura.
And the escritura is actually the deeds for the house,
The deeds for the property. Anyone who owns a property will know that.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to bring the whole thing with you, just the page that show you own it, because you could be asked to prove you own the property.
Right.
The second thing is that you have to have a return flight.
So you actually have to have a return flight already booked?
Out of all the things they're looking for, all the things they're asking for, the one thing that we've had more messages or more correspondence about that people are being asked for is to prove they've got a return flight. And this relates to the 90 out of 180, the maximum 90 days you're allowed to stay.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Now on top of that, under third country rules, you could be asked to prove that you have funds to support your stay here.
Yeah, I've heard about that. So you've got to be, you may be asked.
May be asked.
Right.
But in general, they're not asking for these. The only one they're kind of implementing is that you have a return flight. So it's advisable that you come here with a return flight. Now, if you know you're not going to be going home for 3 months or for 90 days, just book the cheapest one in advance.
I suppose that's the right way.
Book a 25 quidder.
And
if you don't use it...
Are these getting asked at the airport on the way on entry into the country?
Both ways. Some people have actually been asked before they've boarded the plane in the UK.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. And then the rest is here. I mean, I said to you, I quoted one before we started of people that we know who were not going to be let into the country. It wasn't Tenerife, it was one of the other islands.
Yeah. And
had to book a flight online, a return flight, and prove that they got one before they'd let them in.
Okay, so we've covered now. You've covered the main tourist people. You've covered also people who own properties on the Canary Islands.
Yeah.
What about the third one? The third one is if they're going to go and stay with friends or relatives.
Again, since Brexit, everyone's made this, far more difficult in theory. There is a thing in place, and it's not just in Spain. This has actually already been implemented in France.
Right.
If you go to France, you have to do this. In Spain, it's called a carta de invitación.
Okay.
All right. Basically, if you've got friends or family that are either going to come and stay with you, or if you have a property and they're going to go and stay in it because it's not a registered holiday, let obviously, then you have to go through this process in theory, which you have to go to the national police and make an application with the name, address, passport number of everyone who's staying. So
let me get this right. Let's say you're in the UK and you're going to come and stay with me, and I'm here in the Canary Islands.
Yep.
I have to go to the police.
Yep.
So if you bring in your family with you, I have to do it, let's say 4 times or whatever.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So
one application.
Which
costs you €74
for the application or per person.
€74 for the application.
For the application.
It'll take about 6 weeks to process.
Oh right. Okay.
Once it's processed, all right, you don't have to go and collect it.
Yeah.
It costs you €6 something per person that's coming.
Right.
And then they have to receive it so they can present it when they arrive. Now, at the moment, it's not something they're asking for, but it is happening in other countries in Europe.
Yeah.
It has happened over here with other nationalities. I mean,
I've heard
Britain
that.
aren't the first. They're not the first country to become.
It sounds
third country.
I know it sounds a bit like they're picking on us because we're third countries, but we're not because South Americans, Cuba, people they're coming in also, and we now fall into that bracket.
Yes,
because because of the decision we made with Brexit.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's simple as far as testing, and that's the thing that people are confused by, because obviously you go back to the UK, dependent on green, amber, whatever, and you need day 2, day 8, day 5 quarantine. There's none of that here.
Right.
You can come in, if you've been fully vaccinated, straight into your accommodation.
Yeah.
If you haven't, antigen test, £30, no problem. But it gets more complicated when you're not staying in...
Because the hotels have got it all organised. It's when you...
Yeah. Now, okay, there will... or they're expected over a period of time to be some sort of bilateral agreements to bypass these, and at the moment they're not being asked for.
Right.
But you have to be mindful of it. But as I said before, the main piece of advice is make sure you've got a return flight booked.
You heard it. That's the facts, and that's coming straight from the mouth. Chris, thank you very much. Before we go, I've got to cover just another couple of little things.
Okay.
What is this about level alerts that we get? Level 1, level 2, level 3 in the Canaries. The islands are different. Each island's got its own level system as well. I believe as of Friday evening, tomorrow evening, we're actually at Tenerife. We're in Tenerife at the moment. We're going to level 3, whereas other places are in level 1 or level 2. Can you just put a bit of a highlight on that?
Yeah, sure. Basically, the alert levels are similar to a traffic light system for the contagion, for the spread of coronavirus.
Right.
Okay. And there's different indicators, different parameters for each level. Level 1 being the lowest, of low risk. Level 4 being the highest.
Right.
Now, currently, Gran Canaria, Fuerteventura, and the other 3 smaller islands of La Palma, La Gomera, Hierro are all in level 1.
Yeah.
Very few hospital people admitted to hospital and occupancy and ICU, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Bars can open inside to 75%, on terraces to 100%. 1 o'clock in the morning closing. Life is more back to normal in those islands.
Right.
All right. Currently, Lanzarote is in level 2.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Which
means they're at medium risk. Okay. So, like Tenerife at the moment, you can use interiors of bars and restaurants to 50%. And obviously, restaurants have to log people who are eating inside.
Yeah.
They can close at midnight. Groups of 6 can meet and also can eat on terraces or drink on terraces. Groups of 4 inside. The problem then starts when you start to get to level 3 and above. Now, level 3, you don't want to go above level 3. Right. Tenerife is moving into level 3 from tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah, 12 o'clock.
For a minimum of 2 weeks until July the 7th.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of grey areas, okay? It's pretty clear cut that the interiors of the hospitality industry have to close.
Yes.
Which
nobody's allowed indoors.
Which is disastrous.
Yes.
It's a terrible decision, but unfortunately the government have been given no choice because these alert levels are decided by 8 different parameters.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's 6 parameters in Group A, 2 parameters in Group B, and it's based on 7 and 14 day instance rates in general, 7 and 14 day instance rates in over 65s, contagion rate, your R rate, percentage of PCR tests, and then hospital admissions and ICU occupancy.
I told you he was the man.
I've been writing about this every day for the last 18 months. Anyway, last week, Tenerife only had the instance rates in sort of level 3 territory.
Right.
As of yesterday, there was 5 indicators. Unfortunately, it's the whole island. It affects the whole island.
Yeah.
Obviously, the backlash is it's the complaints saying that it's slowing down the economic recovery of the island. You know, for people coming on holiday, they can still come here. The bars and restaurants will still be open till 11 o'clock.
They'll still have terraces.
Absolutely. You still use the outsides.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it means there'll be less entertainment available than people may want to see.
Yeah.
Because that is affected, you know, particularly stuff that encourages interaction, like karaoke.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, dancing. Dancing isn't allowed, which for me is great.
It's great for me. We can't dance.
I would have been happy if they'd been implemented that in 1986, to be honest with you. But anyway, so but a couple of the benefits or a couple of the positives since Tenerife was in. We came out of level 3 on May the 2nd last time, which is a week before the state of alarm finished, and it was a lot stricter. Since then, it's later opening. There's no curfew.
Yeah.
So it's a little. There's a few more things that are a bit less than were last time, or a bit more workable than last time.
Okay, fantastic. The final question I've got to ask you, Chris, and it's a big contentious one. Tell me what's going to happen with these. Because we heard news on the islands from Pedro Sanchez himself that the masks may be disappearing.
He announced it last week, and the Council of Ministers meeting is happening right now to sign that off as a decree law and put it in place from Saturday nationally across the whole of Spain.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a national directive. There are conditions built into it. So yes, it's outside in public places if you're walking down the street, as long as you maintain more than 1.5 meters distance.
Yeah.
If you're in the same bubble like we are. However, if you are going outside into a commercial area, so for example, you're walking into an open air shopping centre, not to necessarily go in the shop, but the fine system also is maintained. You must carry one with you.
Always carry a mask.
Even if you're walking your dog down the road, if you get stopped by the police and you haven't got a mask in your pocket, on your arm, in your handbag, it's the same fine as if you're wearing it and not wearing it normally, which is €100.
That's good to know.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this should be signed off, or will be signed off now, coming to face on Saturday. The Canary Islands, I know a few people are saying, oh, it's happening. The Canary Islands said on Monday that they want to review it, but they can't do anything until the decree is actually passed, till it's published in the official...
Till it becomes a statement of law?
Until it becomes a law.
Right.
So they can look at the small print.
Yeah.
So they can look at it and say, okay, we oppose this. And what they're talking about wanting to do is applying it at the alert levels that we just mentioned.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So, yes, so the chances are that maybe if you're in level 1 or 2, your masks have gone outside. If you're in levels 3 or 4,
they come back into play.
You have to wear them again.
That makes common sense.
Or the fact that the Public Health Committee are recommending that they should stay in place until 50% of the target population has had both vaccinations, which should be probably by the 3rd week of July.
Okay.
The Canary Islands on target hit 70% by the end of July.
You know everything. He knows everything.
We write about these things every day. So, but they're on target to do it. You know, they very publicly said that their aim was to start doing 30,000 inoculations a day.
Yeah.
And they're now doing more than that. They did 33,000 yesterday, 35,000 the day before, opening the 24-hour centre in the north.
Have you had yours?
I've double jabbed.
I'm single. I've still got to wait for my next one. I've got another 2 weeks.
I have my certificate.
Oh, you got a certificate as well? Is it like the one you put it next to your swimming certificate?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be presented with it.
A couple of things just... yeah, there you go.
It was a bit of an anticlimax printing it off yourself.
A couple of things just to know, just for the people that are watching here. It's obviously this changes on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So this news at the moment is relevant as of today. Next week it might be different.
As far as travel is concerned, no.
Right.
Because the regulations they're putting in for accommodation, for example, are now falling in line with the rest of Europe.
Right.
From July the 1st, Europe opens to Europeans.
Yeah.
The EU digital COVID certificate.
Yeah.
And we can travel freely around Europe, either if we're double vaccinated.
Yeah.
Or you have an antigen test, or you've recovered from the virus.
Yeah.
So you can see it's all starting to become a standardised situation.
Right.
So as far as travel is concerned, I can't see them changing it that much. The UK, who knows? But as far as coming to the islands, then no, it's pretty much the same. The alert level's another 2 weeks.
Okay. So you've heard it here first, really. The actual fact is, if you want to know what type, first of all, how to get to the Canaries, the first thing is to actually understand what type of tourist you are. Are you tourist 1, tourist 2 or tourist 3? Once you know which tourist you are, you then understand what direction you have to go to actually get yourself onto that island legally, and then to get yourself back away again.
Correct.
Chris, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. As we say always on Oasis FM online, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell for notifications as well. And also, if you like this information, it might be relevant to other people travelling through the Canaries, don't forget to share it. But for this one, from myself, Rick, Chris, thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys over here pretty soon. Cheers, guys.